Hello and good morning. Welcome to Let's Talk About Us. I'm Zach, and today we are covering some local news from Associated Press. It has 2 lean left ratings, as well as a center rating by Advantis Media, and 2 high factuality ratings. It is independently owned. Washington State AG and ex-sheriff face off in governor's race. This is by Hallie Golden. It was updated Friday, looks like. Former U.S. Representative Dave Reichert, a 2-term sheriff known for helping to hunt down a prolific serial killer, is trying to become Washington's first GOP governor in 40 years. But he faces a difficult hurdle in the Democratic stronghold against longtime Attorney General Bob Ferguson. A darling of liberals for his many lawsuits against the Trump administration. The 2 candidates have spent months trading accusations of dishonesty, especially when it comes to abortion rights, as they fight to lead a state that hasn't had an open race for its top job in more than a decade. They are seeking to replace Democratic Governor Jay Inslee, the longest-serving governor in office in the country, who declined to seek a 4th term. Reichert, 74, has struggled to gain widespread appeal among independent and moderate Democratic voters, or unified support from the state Republican Party, which endorsed a rival in the primary. And as ballots are sent out in the vote-by-mail state, his path to victory appears to be increasingly shaky. I think not only has the partisan lean moved more towards the Democrats over the last decade or 2 in the state, but also the Republican Party has become less united, especially since 2016, said Cornell Clayton, director of Washington State University Thomas S. Foley Institute for Public Policy and Public Service, and that hurts Republican candidates. Now, the Thomas S. Foley Institute for Public Policy, I have it right here, it was started in 1995 to honor Speaker Foley, who spent more than 30 years of public service to both state and nation as the 49th Speaker of the House of Representatives. So they have like a whole little institution for him. And it outlines their mission and whatnot. You can find all this stuff on Washington State University website. But it kind of goes over what they do, public affairs education, engaging students in public service, as well as supporting academic research on public policy and democratic institutions. Ferguson, 59, has far outraised Reichert, bringing in more than $13 million to Reichert's more than $6 million, according to recent state campaign finance records. And in the August primary, Ferguson received about 45% of the vote to qualify the general election, compared with about 27 for Reichert, another Republican in that race. Military veteran Semi Bird got about 11%. Now, they completely leave out that there's a 4th candidate here. And his name is Mark D. Mullet, I believe, right? If I go here. Yeah, Mark D. Mullet. He is a senator, and he is running for governor as well, and we'll get into essentially how the campaigns are doing as we go. Under the state's primary system, all candidates appear on the same ballot regardless of party, with the top 2 finishers advancing to the general election. Throughout the race, Ferguson has leaned into his nearly 12 years as Attorney General, during which he garnered national attention for repeatedly suing the administration of former President Donald Trump, including bringing the lawsuit that blocked Trump's initial travel ban on citizens of several majority Muslim nations. And those nations include most of the Middle East, as well as surprisingly not including Saudi Arabia, or not so surprising if you know America's relationship to that country. And then the other weird thing that it included was a reverse travel ban where people like couldn't go to North Korea. And I after reading it and looking into this, I was like, who's like actively trying to go to North Korea when they live in the States? But whatever. Ferguson also prosecuted 3 Tacoma police officers in the 2020 death of Manuel Ellis, a black man who was restrained face down on a sidewalk while saying that he could not breathe. A jury acquitted them of second-degree murder and manslaughter charges last year. And I have a little video to show you for that.
Yeah, about an hour ago, a racial justice group called the Tacoma Action Collective released that new cell phone video. It was taken by someone who was driving by as Ellis was being confronted by police. Now, you are about to see 2 separate videos, and on parts of those videos, we have zoomed in so that you can get a better look at what's happening. And we just want to warn you that this video is disturbing.
Yeah.
Oh my God, stop hitting him! Hitting him, just arrest him! Just arrest him! Oh my God, that looks so scary!
Behind your back. You can get it again. Put your hands behind your back. Hands behind your
Basically gave this man the same treatment as George Floyd.
Now again, that video was just released.
And they still got
appearing to show
let
police
off the hook.
aggressively restraining Ellis, punching him multiple times, and also asking him to put his hands behind his back while it appears that an officer is on top of him. We did reach out to the Tacoma Action Collective for comment. They gave me timestamps of the video showing that it was taken on March 3rd at 11:22 p.m. right as this was happening. I also sent the video to Tacoma Police, and we are still waiting for a response from them. The mayor, however, just released a statement about all of this, saying, quote, "I join with Governor Jay Inslee in vowing that we are determined to have a full, complete, and independent investigation into the death of Manuel Ellis. Nothing less is acceptable."
Tacoma Police, gotta love them.
On Friday
All right,
with
that's enough
the
of
city.
that. He and Reichert have each worked to position themselves as the law and order candidate, while the state experiences a rise in violent crime. Washington has ranked last in the nation in law enforcement officers per capita for more than 12 years running, according to the Washington Association of Sheriffs and Police Chiefs. Both candidates have committed to hiring more police. Ferguson's plan includes directing $100 million to help local jurisdictions bring more officers on board, including through hiring bonuses. Reichert has said elected officials need to show they support law enforcement, including by protecting qualified immunity laws in order to recruit more officers. Reichert worked for 33 years at the King County Sheriff's Office, including 2 terms as sheriff, and has been endorsed by dozens of sheriffs. He helped track down the Green River serial killer Gary Ridgway, who killed 49 women and was arrested and convicted in 2003 during Reichert's second term as sheriff. Now, we go to kingcounty.gov, Green River Homicides Investigation. On July 15, 1982, the body of Wendy Lee Cofield was found in the Green River. Within a month, 4 other bodies were found on the riverbank: Deborah Lynn Bonner, Marcia Faye Chapman, Opal Charmaine Mills, and Cynthia Jean Hines. Thus began one of the longest and largest serial murder investigations in United States history. Eventually, the deaths of at least 48 women would be linked to the Green River killer. Our investigation continued for decades. Over time, the combination of advancing technology, science, and determined investigative work advanced the case until an arrest was made in 2001. And over here, you can see all the names of the people that Gary Ridgway killed. You can also see some of the more unidentified victims, as well as people that are still missing. I encourage you, if you live in Washington and you haven't gone over this, please do. You might know something even small that could help find the rest of the victims. Now, about his claim that he helped catch the killer, it is true. He did help try to catch the killer. But what really nailed him, because what happened was they investigated him in the 80s. They had him in the 80s because they were just following him around. But they weren't able to get him at that point. But later on, when DNA technology started coming about, that's what eventually got him, was they were able to match his DNA to the killer's DNA, and eventually find him. Reichert is one of the people involved that helped catch the guy. The issue of abortion has also been a key point of contention for the 2 candidates. The procedure has long been legal until viability in the state, a determination left up to the judgment of a healthcare provider, and after that in cases when the patient's health is threatened. Ferguson has brought up the possibility on his website of pursuing an amendment to the state constitution to strengthen abortion protections. He also regularly references Reichert's history during his 7 terms in Congress of voting for a nationwide ban on abortion starting at 20 weeks of pregnancy as evidence of him being wildly out of touch with the majority of Washingtonians. Anytime you hear a politician say, well, just go check their voting record, just go look at how they vote, and you want to go look at how they vote, use VoteSmart, facts for all. It has a little thing here where you can select, what things you care about. Like if you're trying to find a certain thing, for this case, we're trying to find abortion, right? So we have abortion, and you can see National key votes. He voted yes on the Pain-Capable Unborn Child Protection Act, which is the bill that they're referencing that would limit abortion to the 20 weeks, and then past that you just can't do it. You can also see a number of other things that he voted yes or no on, or didn't, or in this case, didn't vote on. If you're interested in any politician, I encourage you to use this site. See what your politicians are voting on and how they're voting. Reichert has pushed back and said his only plan for the state's abortion law is to enforce and support it. I will protect your rights, ladies, he said at a recent debate. On homelessness, their plans differ considerably, as the Seattle area sees one of the nation's highest rates of homelessness. Reichert has suggested moving people from the streets to state-owned land, including McNeil Island, where a facility for sexual predators is located. Bro, what? Are you telling me his idea for homeless people is literally just, let's put them all on an island? Like, I shouldn't laugh because that's a horrible idea, but it's just so funny. Like that sounds like what like some kids in high school would say about like a really like a convoluted topic. They would be like, well, we'll just put all the problem people on an island. We'll just put them all. Like, what the hell? Okay. Huh. Ferguson called that a very unserious proposal for a very serious challenge. Correct. During the debate, he wants to increase affordable housing along with mental health and substance use services. Ballots in Washington state are mailed out at least 18 days before Election Day. Washingtonians can also vote in person through an accessible voting center. Okay, that's the end of the article. There was a couple things I wanted to show you. The first being, if you go to Como 4 News, you can find interviews with all 4 candidates. Each candidate's interview is like 20 to 30 minutes long and covers like a super wide range of topics. So I encourage you, if you have time, like it's about 2 hours worth. If you have about 2 hours of time, or just want to watch on and off, you can get a full interview for each candidate and see kind of how they feel as people. And the other thing I wanted to show you, Bob Ferguson, is currently ahead with $13 million raised for his race. Reichert is $6 million raised. This is Mark D. Mullet. He also ran for governor. He lost the primary, but he raised over $1 million. And then this is Semi Bird, Missapati Semi Bird. He raised less than $1 million. And he was actually the pick for the RNC, but got beat out by what, honestly, he's Republican, but I would call him more of an independent candidate. Like, if you go and watch Reichert's interview on Como, he comes off as a very different kind of Republican. Almost like before, like the Republicans you kind of remember during the Bush era, he almost kind of comes off as that kind of Republican, which is really weird to say, because now the Republican Party is like so much different from how it used to be, 20 years ago. But yeah, I encourage you to watch each of the interviews, even though the two of the people mentioned here that did run aren't. They lost the primary, so they're probably, I don't think they're still running. As far as I can see, they're still all running for the governor race, even though Ferguson and Reichert won the primary. So if they're on the ballot, you'll have 4 choices. If not, you'll have 2. I don't think I've gotten my ballot yet. As soon as I do, I'll just leave a comment on the video that says if they are or not. But yeah. This has been Let's Talk About Us. Y'all have a good day.